If you've got a laser that really isn't paying you back yet, you're posting, listing, maybe doing the odd craft show, but the money still feels like fun money instead of something that actually helps with bills, this is for you. In this video, I want to walk you through the plan that took our laser business from about $7,000 in a year to over $118,000 the next year. And more importantly, how you can start using that same structure in your own laser business. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll show you how to get 7 days of free access to that plan and our community so you can actually test it with us, not just watch a YouTube video and hope. All right, let me back up and tell you where we started. That $7,000 year did not feel like a win. On paper, it was we made money with our laser, but in reality, I felt like I was working all the time for gas money. I was making anything for anyone. If someone in a Facebook group wanted something, I tried to make it. Friends would say, "Could you do this?" And I would say yes, even if it wasn't a great fit. I was undercharging because I was scared people would say no. I was bouncing between ideas I saw on Pinterest and Etsy all the time. Some orders came from people we knew, a few came from Etsy, a few came from random school events and craft shows, but it was totally unpredictable. One month I'd get a handful of orders, the next month, nothing. And I felt like I was constantly learning tutorials, lives, PDFs, all the things, but the numbers weren't really changing. And that's the part that really got to me. I was putting so much in and not seeing it come back out. And if that sounds familiar, you're not broken, you're just where I was. At some point, I had to get really honest with myself. It wasn't that I needed one more trick or one more tutorial. I didn't have an information problem. I had a plan problem. I knew how to run a laser. I knew how to make nice things. I knew sort of how Etsy worked. But I woke up every day asking, what do I feel like trying today? Instead of what's the plan for this month? So we decided to change that. We asked, okay, for the next year, we're going to treat our business like a series of 30-day experiments. Every 30 days, we're going to pick who we're focused on, what we're selling to them, how we're going to get in front of them, and then we're just going to run that plan and see what happens. That's it. It wasn't fancy. It was just committing to a simple 30-day rhythm and stopping the constant guessing. Let me show you what that rhythm actually looked like. We broke each month into 3 rough chunks. The first part of the month was all about deciding. The middle was about getting in front of people. The last part was about doing the boring, money-moving work every day. So in the beginning of a cycle, think the first week or so, we decide who are we actually focused on right now. Instead of being the person who makes anything for anyone, we'd pick one group. For example, this month we're going to focus on teachers, or this month is about pet parents, or weddings, or sports parents, or local businesses. We look at who we liked serving, who we already had some connection with, and who actually spends money on this stuff. Once we pick that group, we pick just a couple of products for them. If it was teachers, maybe a door sign, a classroom pass set, and a cute desk nameplate. If it was pet parents, maybe a memorial sign and a leash holder. The point was to stop throwing 20 random projects at a wall and instead say, these are the 2 to 3 things that we're really going to push for this buyer. Then, once we knew who and what, the middle of the month was about, okay, where are these people and how do we get these offers in front of them? Sometimes that was Etsy. Sometimes it was our own little Shopify site. Very often it was people we already knew, friends, family, coworkers, or people at church. Often it was small local events, school fairs, church bazaars, craft shows, markets. We would ask, where do teachers hang out? Okay, there's a local teacher group. There's back to school night. There's PTA fundraiser. Where do pet parents hang out? Local pet groups, groomers, pet shops, dog parks. Where do brides hang out? Bridal fairs, venues, online groups. Now, we didn't try to be everywhere. We just picked 1 or 2 places that made sense for that buyer and said, let's actually show up there with these specific products. And then the last third of the month was about the follow through. Instead of waking up and thinking, maybe I'll redesign my logo today, we gave ourselves a little 15-minute routine. 15 minutes where I would sit down and say, okay, who can I reach out to? Who can I follow up with? What's one listing I can improve? What's one simple post I can put up that says, hey, I'm taking orders for this thing right now? It was nothing crazy, just small actions that over a month move you a lot further than constantly rearranging your craft room. We also started tracking things, not in a complicated way, just how many orders came through this month? How much money was that? What product and which buyer did it come from? And in the beginning, it wasn't magical. It wasn't like we did this once and suddenly there were $1,000 coming in. But for the first time, we actually had a very simple structure. One buyer, a couple of offers, a couple of places to show up, a tiny daily routine, and actual numbers to look at. From there, we could start making better decisions using the plan across Etsy, people you know, and shows. I want you to notice something here. Nothing I've said depends on a specific platform. Yes, Etsy was part of it for us, but so were people we already knew. So were local shows. There were months where most of our sales came from warm people who finally understood what we really offered. Other parents, people at church, friends of friends. These were the months where a local event did great and Etsy was quiet. And then there were months where Etsy did the heavy lifting and shows were just okay. The constant wasn't the platform, the constant was the plan. Pick a buyer, pick a couple of products, decide where you are going to show up for that buyer this month. Run a little routine, track what happens, and then next month keep the parts that worked and change the things that didn't. That rhythm, not a magic listing, not some secret ad, is what took us from about $7,000 that first year to over $118,000 the next. When we finally stuck to that 30-day cycle, here's what changed. The obvious thing is the money. We went from this kind of covers some fun stuff to this is actually a meaningful income stream. But honestly, the bigger change for me was how I felt about the business. I stopped feeling like a crafter who was constantly behind. I started to feel like a business owner who had a simple plan, even if everything wasn't perfect yet. And when we started sharing this structure inside Laser Design Club, we saw other laser owners do it too. Deb was someone who hadn't really had any orders yet. Using this plan, she got over 10 paid orders and 16 sales in just a couple of months. Ray and Lisa were at that about $100 a month place, and after running this structure consistently, they started seeing months around $2,800 a month. Carolyn stopped chasing every opportunity and by focusing on one lane with this plan, stacked just over $2,500 in the first quarter. Different starting points, different machines, different channels. Same basic idea. Stop guessing, give yourself one clear 30-day experiment and run it. Even if you never join us, you can start testing this in your own laser business right away. You don't need to remember every detail from this video. Just steal the idea. Give yourself one 30-day window and say, okay, for the next month, I'm going to pick one group of people I want to be the laser person for. I'm going to pick a couple of products just for them. I'm going to decide where I'm going to show up. Etsy, my website, a show, or just people I know. And then I'm going to show up for 15 minutes a day and see what happens. At the end of that month, look at your notes. Which buyer felt good? Which offer actually sold? Which place brought you the most interest? And then you take that information and run another 30-day experiment. That's really all we did over and over. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, I get it, but I know myself, I'm going to watch this, I'm going to get excited, and then life is going to happen, and I'm not going to follow through. Well, that's exactly why we built Laser Design Club the way we did. We took this 30-day structure and turned it into what we call the Laser Profit Roadmap and the 30-day Laser Profit Game. And for our 2-year anniversary, we opened a 7-day free trial so you can actually step inside and test it with us. During your 7 days, you'll be able to go through module 1 of the roadmap, where I walk you through finding your unfair advantages and choosing your ideal buyer. See the current 30-day Laser Profit Game from inside, the scoreboard, the check-ins, the routine people are running. Join the community, ask questions, and see what other laser owners are doing with this plan. And you'll have access to all 39 of our laser business workshops, plus this month's 10 new laser ready files that you can plug into your offers. You can use that week to get oriented, start your own 30-day experiment, and decide if this is the structure you've been missing. There's a link in the description box below this video. Click it to start your 7-day free trial. Join us in the current 30-day Laser Profit Game and see what your laser can do in one focused month. Whether you decide to do this with us or on your own, my hope is that you stop waking up wondering, what should I try today? And instead give yourself a simple plan and a 30-day window. That's what changed everything for us. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you inside.